Hi guys, it's Carol and Toby. How are you guys doing? I'm pretty good. Except I have a cough, but I'm okay. I don't have any fever. However, my 20-year-old grandson has COVID. Not something a grandma wants to hear, but he just had the COVID test this morning. He had been coughing and having horrible chills and running a fever and has COVID. I did find out something good, at least. At Walgreens, you can get a COVID test for free. So there's that. I really, everything around here is fine. I'm worried about my grandson, but worrying won't fix it. So here in Amarillo yesterday, we had 155 new cases of COVID, 7 recoveries, and 1 death. So we're in the orange range now. Orange is just under red. In New Mexico, my sister told me that kids are going to have to wear masks to school again this year, but in Texas, because our governor lifted the mask mandate in the spring, schools can't force kids to wear masks. So, and I don't want to get in the mask debate. I don't know if they help or not. Our numbers were down until everybody stopped wearing masks, and then they went back up. But who knows? I don't know. I've had my shot. Out of my 4 kids, only the one that lives in Seattle has had the shot. The 3 here haven't had them. Their dad and stepmom didn't get the shots, just me. But anyway, enough of that talk. I had discovered YouTube late in the game. I mean, it's like 2 years ago, I think it was. In 2019, I discovered YouTube videos. I had seen some videos before, but it was of music, like of people, probably Garth Brooks. But I didn't know until 2019 that they were just normal people like me that just talk to the camera. Well, now I've discovered podcasts. If you know of any good podcasts, especially if they're funny, please tell me. I discovered podcast because this is a long story. Here in the Panhandle, because Texas is so huge, town's 100 miles from us, we consider those our neighbors. And in the Panhandle, 100 miles north of us, is a little town called Canadian. And in 2016, a young man went missing. He was a senior in high school. He was the class president, a football player, active in theater. Everybody said he was their best friend. Everybody loved him. And the night before Thanksgiving of 2016, he had met with some friends, and they had just hung out like teenagers do in little towns, just go riding around and stuff. And then they all left all the cars at a school parking lot and got in one car. And then when they decided to go home, the girl driving took them all back to their cars, and those kids went home. And this young man, his name was Tom, went to get gas at a self-service type place. And that's the last time anybody ever saw him, which hit me really hard because I don't know. I guess it's because of my mental illness or just because I'm a mother. I don't know. I was always scared to death that one of my kids would get kidnapped or something or disappear. Like, that was just a huge fear for me. So when this really good kid, I mean, he wasn't into drugs or anything, just suddenly vanished, I took a big interest in it. I felt so sorry for his parents. And anyway, he had never missed curfew. His curfew was at midnight, and that night he wasn't there by like 5 after midnight. So his brother called his phone, and he didn't, or texted him and he didn't answer. His mother texted him, he didn't answer. Then they called, and by that time, the phone was turned off, and it was just gone. I think this was, I don't know. Anyway, because I like to watch Dateline and 48 Hours, things like that, this case interested me because I'm just interested in those kind of things. I don't know why. I always liked 48 Hours and Dateline. My kids used to say, why do you watch that? And I said, because I'm watching, because the victim is never at fault, but they slipped up somewhere for it to be available to happen to whatever. You know what I mean? If they hadn't done this, they wouldn't be where they got in trouble or something. Anyway, I just pay a lot of attention and tell my kids, don't do this, don't do that. The Tom Brown case, I was interested in. His mother was on TV a lot, and this case has had more twists and turns. If you are interested in that in true crime type things, this story is just, I mean, weird things keep coming up, or startling things. I mean, not startling, scary. I mean, startling like, they did what? They eventually found his body. He was killed. But the whole case, if you're interested in true crime, is interesting, I think. If you want to listen to the podcast I listen to, go to Texas Monthly. Just Google Texas Monthly, Tom Brown's Body. And I think it's a 6-part podcast, but I mean, it's like, you know, they would discover his cell phone. They discovered his backpack. They found his car. I mean, all these different things just left me going, what? So if you like true crime, maybe you could listen to the Texas Monthly, Tom Brown's Body podcast, and then we could talk about it. But also, if you know a podcast that are funny, I'd really like to know. I would like to listen to some funny podcast. Okay, I'm going to stick some pictures in here next. One of my subs said to me, since I love my flowers on my patio so much, I should have pictures of flowers in my apartment. And I thought that was a great idea. I'm sorry I forgot who told me that, but I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. So I went out and took pictures of some of my blooms, and I'm going to have 4 printed to put on my refrigerator. If I'm not in the living room, I'm in the kitchen. And from the living room, I can see my red geranium painting. But anyway, I want to put those across my refrigerator, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to have printed. Okay, guys, I don't know anything else today. I hope you're all doing fine, and I'll talk to you another time. Bye. I've already put my tripod up, and I thought of something else. I'm just going to hold my camera here, my cell phone. I'll tell you, in the Tom Brown's Body podcast, there's nothing scary or gory. They don't know how he died. They found a skeleton. The sheriff thought it was suicide, even though his friend said he was not suicidal, that he'd been hanging with that night. And they found his truck with a shell casing in it, but the body wasn't found at the truck. It was found 12 miles away. You know, people who commit suicide in their truck don't usually then walk 12 miles. The whole case is just bizarre. Like, the sheriff said, what? The deputy did what? The teacher did what? The doctor did what? It's just like, it would make a really good mystery book if it weren't true. that's the whole podcast, is just all these facts as they happen, but nothing is. I mean, this was not an abused child, nothing like that. Um, it's just this disappearance happened, and then the sheriff did this, the deputy did that, the family did this, the teacher did that. I just, every time I'd read something, listen to the next podcast, I'd say, what? If you like mysteries, there you go. If you listen to it, let me know. We'll talk about our theories. Okay, here come my pictures of the flowers I'm going to print and put in my fridge.